joining us now to talk a little bit about LSU athletics. And the great unknown is a good and great friend who's, of course, a former Tiger great linebacker and a guy that served his alma mater in tremendous fashion now. He's closing in on 2 decades, the Deputy Athletic Director, Executive Director of External Relations for LSU Athletics, Verge Ausberry. Verge, listen, thank you for joining us, and I surely hope you and yours are well in these very strange times.
Same to you, Ken, and I'm glad to join you tonight.
Well, obviously, nobody has the answers to the questions. I could ask them all. It's not going to matter because I know that nobody has the definitive answers. I know the things you can answer, and that are that plans are being made, and, of course, revised plans are being made, schedules are made, and revised schedules are being made. I'm quite sure that LSU Athletics preparing for every possibility with regard to the fall, starting with football in late August.
Ken, and that's correct. I tell people you can take spaghetti and throw it on a wall right now, and you know what's happening. We're just trying to see something that sticks. We're just trying to get through all of the different dialogues and the conversations and the Zoom calls we're having about, how this season going to look. The most important thing is our student athletes. We had a graduation forum last night ceremony on the technology on Zoom. It was good, to get to see those kids and those young people graduate in their senior year and doing something for them. That's what we worry about, our student athletes and our coaches first and foremost, to make sure that they're healthy and safe and they're in the right place. And that's how we take it, one day at a time. And, there's so many different things happening with this virus, COVID-19. You just don't know. The doctors don't know. Not many people see what this thing is. So we are trying to how to bring
Okay, Verge cutting out a little bit there. Let's see if we can get his signal a little bit better. But obviously we will get that straightened out. It's 260-061. Yeah, go ahead, Verge. Go ahead, Verge.
You hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I left off. I said, most important thing is making sure that our student athletes and coaches are healthy and okay. And, we're looking into about, how you start the season off and those type of things. Those will come. The first and foremost thing is our student athletes and getting those back on campus, especially football, and getting them with the strength coach, working out, conditioning, meeting with the coaches and seeing, how, the football season turn out, learning the system, especially young guys and your freshmen out there, and get them back in summer school. And summer school will be online, but at least they'll be here with us and around us. So that's what we're trying to do. And then bringing the rest of our athletes, soccer and volleyball, and also the fall sports. And that's important.
Verge Ausberry with us from LSU. Of course, softball very prominent at LSU too. Great program with Torino. And so disappointing to watch what's transpired and young people missing their seasons. There's not much that could be done about it. I suspect, and my feeling has been, and it's certainly been reinforced in the last couple of weeks, there will be football in the fall. That's my feeling strongly. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I believe very strongly there will be intercollegiate football on the FCS level. Is that your feeling as well?
Yes, I think there'll be football. And look, Ken, we're trying to make sure that we have 12 games and hope we have 12 games. But like I said earlier, you just don't know how this thing's going to look and what's going to happen. It changes from day to day, week to week. And it's still early, I tell people. It's not even June yet. So let's get through the month of June, get the football guys back on campus and the coaches with them and get them conditioned. And then after that, we take a look and see where it's at. I think right now it's too early to make a decision one way or the other. And I think right now if somebody say they know what they're going to do or this is what we should do or this is going to happen, they're not telling the truth. We just don't know. And that's perfectly honest with you. We're still on calls all day with ADs and presidents and athletic administrators from all over the country. And I think we're all in the same boat here, trying to figure out how this thing's going to look, what we're going to do, how we get started back again. And we want to get started back. And everybody wants to get started back. Everybody wants, the first and foremost is the health of our athletes and the health of the student body. It's important that the students come back to campus in the fall and be on campus and have a regular, fall and spring semester. So those are the things we're trying to work out. We have an expert from, she's a faculty member with LSU Medical School, but she's also over the chief medical officer at Our Lady Lake Hospital, Ms. Katie O'Neill. You know, we nominated her for the committee in the SEC with the rest of the doctors from each school. And she's one of the leading infectious disease doctors in the world. And so she is giving guidance to everybody at the conference and all of us of, how we move forward. And not only us, but, hospitals and everything else and healthcare and all those different areas. So it's so good to have someone like her giving us her opinions and advice on how we get through this thing.
Visiting with Verge Ausberry, talking about LSU athletics, 260-1061 to join us. Obviously, this is just uncharted territory, and it seems as though the directive right now is likely going to start with, if not finish with, Power 5 conference entities and Power 5 conference commissioners and what they decide to do. Is that kind of what LSU is following and the SEC is following right now?
Yes, unless people don't realize, the start of football that is up to the commissioners and the presidents and the conference. They're the ones who control the football part of this. So that's what we're going to see what the Power 5 does. The thing that's so tricky, Ken, all states, too, are on different phases. Some in phase 1, some in like phase 1.5. Our governor will let us know here on June 1st do we go to phase 2 or not. So that's where all gets a little tricky, especially you're playing out-of-conference teams. What's going on in their state? You see what's happening. You heard earlier about Alabama and USC game. Will that game take place? I just don't know. All of our non-conference games predominantly in Texas this year. Rice let them go there. Texas comes here and UTSA comes here. So we feel kind of comfortable with that at this time. But, like I said, things can change quickly. And that's what we hope that, it stays the way it's going, that the numbers keep going, in the right direction, and that, the governor be able to lift the phases as we go.
Yeah, it certainly seems that it really does depend on state to state. And if there are some that can't compete, then that's not going to stop the masses from competing. I think that's pretty clear. There will be a season with or without a few that may not be able to compete, correct?
Ken, I don't want to speak on that too early because I don't know how that'll look. And I don't know what'll happen there. And we just, like I said, I can't give you a definite answer on that, Ken, not at this time. We want to have football. We want to start football. We want to start football on time in early September. But I just can't tell you right now if that's going to happen or not that way. There's all different type of projects and project models about how the season starts. A lot of people around the country do we have 12 games? Do you have 10 games? Do you only play conference games? You play conference games in your big game, or what opponents you could have, or somebody would drop off the schedule. Let's say you're playing somebody from a different state who their governor say they can't travel, they don't have school, and they can't play football. Then what you do? How does that change the schedule? How does it give an advantage to another team if they're playing one week and you're not playing another week? So there's so many different models out there, Ken. You're right. We're in uncharted waters. Usually we have, natural disasters, especially in your area, like we had Katrina and Rita, those things. Then you could plan, okay, in state of Louisiana, we hurt here, this is what we hit here. Or earthquake hits here, or tornado hits here, we could plan it, bad weather, floods. But this here, it shut the whole country down. So now, we're all in the same boat. It's not another area. You can't just move a game to, let's say, Houston, or move a game to Dallas, or move a game to Florida. Whatever happens, and we just have to live with it, try to fight through it. We see it happening in a lot of our other sports, especially basketball. Teams are just dropping, saying we're not coming. We don't want to go that far. And you'll see that for two reasons. Like I said, some states, I think the travel across the country is going to end. I think people are playing more regionally and local and closer. And I'm seeing a lot in football right now. A lot of football schools say, we want to stay in this region. We don't want to go way to Oregon if I'm in North Carolina. I'm trying to come south, trying to stay in the area. And you'll see the format of scheduling changing, not only because of people, not comfortable getting on planes going across country, but also is that, the cost. Right now, all over the country have budget constraints and budget problems, especially when you have the NCAA basketball tournament, especially to the mid-majors and the smaller schools. And, Ken, that's why football is so important. If we don't have football, a football season, then all of us, no matter how much budget you have and fund balance you have, we have major problems.
Yeah, that was my next question, was the trickle-down effect, and that's how important football is, especially for the major football schools, but really for all schools. But you got a
Oh,
100,000 seat stadium there, and yet the stadium, just as an example, right here in New Orleans at Tulane, they've got 23 to 25,000 seats, and it's just
yeah.
as important to them to fund the rest of their programs to be able to put people in those seats for football.
It is, especially the TV contracts and things like that. That's what you worry about. People ask the question, Ken. There's so many different things you can think about here. What if one of your players come down with COVID-19? What if coaches come down with COVID-19? What if, so many what ifs here. And so that's why testing is so important. We tested the coaches already when they came back, did the antibodies test, and we're going to be testing all the players. And how many times you test? Who are they around? Who are they coming in contact with? We've had a few players on our team have lost parents, have lost uncles, have lost grandfathers, have lost grandparents. So, it's all around us, COVID-19. And some people have had it. Some people have underlying health issues. You talk about big guys, big football players, hypertension, high blood pressure run in some of our bigger players. You have big players who are diabetic, some players who are pre-diabetic. I tell people, you look at a guy like a Patrick Peterson, who's in great shape, a 10-year Pro Bowler, he's a type 2 diabetic. So, is he at risk? Kids with sickle cell, different type of diseases. So this thing is just bigger than the football aspect. I tell people, you have to look at the whole picture. A lot of people don't think that far ahead about what is this picture? How does it look? That's why you have to listen to the scientists and the doctors. They're going to control what we do.
Verge Ausberry with us from LSU. Scheduling has always been right front and center for you over the years, and we got the information yesterday about the home and home with Clemson. Of course, we've known about that series that's going to be taken up, and the first game will be at Clemson, I think in 2025, and then a return trip to Baton Rouge in 2026. That's a glamour home and home. I know that's one that you've been involved with. Talk about a few of the other things on the schedule that LSU fans can look forward to in the next few years.
Well, let's talk about take 2021. Go to Pasadena, playing the Rose Bowl,
Yep.
taking UCLA. I mean, what a better venue, a better place to play a football game. And then, you have the Florida State game, and we're doing that coming to your place, New Orleans, in the Superdome. And then we playing the other game in Orlando, and that's where they wanted to play that game. That's a neutral site game, but that's really a home and home neutral site game. And then you have the Clemson game that you mentioned. Then you have Oklahoma on there. You have Arizona State. You have Utah. Great places. We're doing some other things, and we might still throw in some 2 Power Fives in certain years. So you might see us playing a neutral site game and a big home and home game.
And it's always been part of the schedule to have a Louisiana school play at Tiger Stadium. Is that going to continue?
Yes, we always have Louisiana schools play every year at Tiger Stadium. We try to do that. And we have a lot of people right now calling about scheduling games, so it's pretty easy to schedule right now. And we've heard from Power Fives. And I think our world's going to change, Ken. I don't think it's going to look the same in 2-3 years from now. And I think you'll see more Power 5 opponents on people's rosters. I don't think this model is going to stand up the way it is right now with one Power 5. I think in the future, this is my take on it, I think the playoffs are going to expand. But I think right now it's going to be finding new ways to generate revenue. But I think, like I told you, right now, at this point in time, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what attendance is going to happen. We don't know, if you have fans of 85 and 89, will they come into your stadium if they're not a vaccine or anything like that? So this could change the whole dynamic and the look of college athletics throughout the country. And that's what we're sitting back just watching and looking and seeing what's happening, where we get ahead at, and where, you have those big games in your arena and in your stadium, and how you generate new revenue. And I think that's going to be a question everybody can be asking here pretty soon. As you see, people are doing furloughs, people are making cuts. Look at the University of Louisville, there's just like 47 people go in the athletic department. I mean, so the world we lived in doesn't exist anymore.
Completely understood, and I agree with you as well. And Scott Woodward, what's it been like to work with him and a guy that's home again from Baton Rouge? How's it gone thus far with Scott?
Scott's doing great. Scott and I have been best friends for over 20 years. So it's like like working with your brother, and we see things the same way. I learned a lot in the business from Scott. In fact, when he worked for the president's office, Mark Emmert, Scott took me under his wing, and I worked governmental relations with Scott. And he put me, hired me every job I've had, till he left. and I was offered to go with him many times when he traveled. But one of my dear friends, good friends, and friends of the family, and we see things the same way. And we're here with both LSU guys, so whatever we do is going to be in the best interest for LSU.
And then I'd be remiss not to ask you about your reaction and your feelings about what transpired with this past football season. It was mind-boggling to not only watch it happen on a week-to-week basis, but then when it was over with to really wrap your arms around it and comprehend just how special it was. And, the defense for a while maybe didn't live up to expectations, but it got better and better and peaked at the right time. Getting guys back and getting healthy was part of that. The offense was just off the charts. I don't think we've ever seen the likes of that in college football previously, and I say that objectively. Just your thoughts about what you witnessed from your alma mater's football team.
I felt it, Ken, all year. Even in the summer, there was something special about this team. And that's when the game is won. That's when the games are won. That's when the seedings are won. When you tell a national championship team, Coach O talks about, on Saturdays, the whole football team showing up to work out. Joe Burrow's leadership, Coach O's leadership with his team, and how he molded these young men and put these young men together and fight through adversity. You talked about the defense. It wasn't happening to defense all the time, but you won the game, and that was important. And the game that people don't realize, the biggest game we had was that Texas game. And when Joe Burrow made that play to go down and score, it set our team apart right there. It told our team that the players, we're not going to sit back and try to fill the lead. We're going to attack you. We're going to attack you downfield. Defense struggling, you know what? We got to outscore people, until they catch up to where the offense was. And that's what we did. And that's big volumes of Coach O. You look at Coach O, typical time, trying to hire a head coach is very difficult. I don't care where you are. Hiring a head coach is the hardest job you could do. And hiring a head coach that fits what you do, that fits your program, is very difficult. And, we got the guy, Ed Ogeron, who fits what we want to do at LSU. He loves Louisiana. He loves LSU. He gets it. He loves football. He loves recruiting. And that's all. He doesn't get caught in all the external things. That's what he wants to do. And, it's a blessing to have a guy like that and work with a guy like that. O never bothers and complains us with the little things. He takes care of the little things in-house. He worries about the big things, his program, people play for him, and his coaches. And the people in that building, that's what he worries about. And that's why he's been so successful here at LSU.